January the 1st, which I guess I didn't say anything about, would have been Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And let's, oh, I have it down to this format, so sorry about that. So let's scan over what we have here before we go on to finish this one and put this up and get back into the Egyptian Heaven and Hell by E. Wallace Budge. And so we have an orange scent offering representing, what is it representing? I watched Ariana Farshad's Mystic Iran, The Unseen World. Coleman Barks, Michael Mead, Deepak Chopra with the extras with the Rumi, the Poet of the Heart. I read the Dead Sea Scrolls Uncovered. Fee through 50. REMWW2. Oh, Wednesday the 2nd. There was the Sleep CD on Surah 9. I watched the 72 Names of God. Sandalwood Scent Offering. I had a discussion with the Princess of Cups. If I was talking to her so much, I don't know why I felt... Maybe it was a really long one, that sort of thing, like hours, like we used to talk. So Thursday the 3rd, I read the Holy Quran, the Kanzul Iman one that we showed through Surah 3 something through 147. And I started the Sleep CD on Surah 18. I watched Muhammad, Legacy of a Prophet, an orange scent offering. Friday the 4th, there was an orange steam offering. I watched Letters from Iran, the interview about it. British Black Mass, Satanus, the Devil's Mass, and the World Islamic Mission. Thought I'd show that. But we have, what do we have? Friday the 4th, Orange Steam Offering, Letters from Iran, British Black Mass. On Saturday the 5th, I watched a Mary Magdalene Roundtable, The Experts Speak. Sandalwood Scent Offering. More Secrets of Mary Magdalene. I discussed the world with the next door neighbor. Well, that's pretty broad, isn't it? Secrets of Mary Magdalene. Okay, so that Sunday the 6th, Sleep CD on Surah 72. Oh, track 72, which was Surah 69. I watched the writing of the Book of the Law, Aleister Crowley's, that he received over 100 years ago, 3 days. I've shared a more complete comment. I probably will share more of Aleister Crowley's writings in the future, won't I? On 2 p.m., I left for... I left for the meeting with Jamila, and I went. There was musical. Oh, there was a musical sing-along with that potluck meeting. There was the weird, the litany, the watering hole that is continually returned to day after day, or week after week, or whenever people do this. I returned with Rachma, so I've returned with someone else. Rachma, so a Sandalwood Scent Offering. So Jupiter of Air, no, Mercury of Air. I started Sleep Sea on Surah 4. Sandalwood can be a symbolism of clairvoyance, divination, good fortune, meditation, protection, development. Orange, a symbolism of beauty, brightening, disposition, fertility, good luck. I don't mean good luck as in God, God, Loki, that sort of thing. I don't mean good luck as in, sort of casting a a godless spell on somebody. I don't mean, you know what I mean by godless, I guess, an atheistic sort of, you're not worshiping anything, you're sort of worshiping yourself and casting it off. I don't support that divination. Sort of spiritual thought developing. Okay. Happiness, love, material objects, money, prosperity, health, weddings. Okay. An orange steam offering. I read Al Quran, that translation, Mela Ashah, Raza Khan, through Surah 381, or is it 581? I finished with the 22 Enochian. Oh, the Enochian fire table is oh ho hound. And I had a discussion with the next door neighbor, maybe about Persia. I watched The Real Islam, Sidi Sheikh Mohammed Al-Jamal Rafa'i Ashaduli. I watched Letters from Iran, Legacy of the Prophet, Sandalwood Scent Offering, made Sleep CD on. I watched Rumi, Poet of the Heart, so, further day. Coleman Barks, Michael Mead, Deepak Chopra, the extras of that. I discussed with the Princess of Cups metals, mystical use of metals, maybe. I discussed all sorts of things with her. Sleep CD on Al-Quran, Surah 8. I watched Mystic Iran and The Unseen World, Aryan Farshad's The Dervish Project. Since it's not available, I think I should remind every day that I refer, every one of these that I refer to it once, that, the paintings. This woman would share her paintings, and she'd talk about the different Sufi different stages, the stations and the states that these things represented, and some quotes from her own experience. But Inayat Khan, in particular, Rabia Lynn Clark. Okay, a sandalwood scent offering. A Mary Magdalene round table was watched. Something secrets. On Thursday the 10th, I watched British Black Mass, minus the scenes, of course, the Sandalwood Scent Offering, Satanist the Devil's Mass, the Writing of the Book of Law. Satanist the Devil's Mass, the British Black Mass, and all that comes from the Church of Satan, so it's a DVD set, and it's important sometimes to consider what actually, the satanic craze of the 80s and 90s, and people are trying to make a comeback of it. It's getting people killed that aren't physically hurting anybody, and dealing with different beliefs. There's another way. I started the sleep CD on Surah 22, 7:18 to 7:34 a.m. So there was Enochian Key 2, or Enochian Key 3 is listed for the Friday the 11th, and 7:49 to 8:01 a.m. I read World Islam Mission Quran through Surah 6, 110. I watched the Bhagavad Gita as it is, A.C. Bhakti Vedanti Swami Prabhupada, narrated by His Greatness, I don't know, Nirantara Dasa. Introduction through chapter 3 or 2. Or I eventually watched the whole disc with the neighbor. Saturday the 12th, I watched the Steep City on 12. I read through Surah 787 of Al-Quran, the Ahmad Raza Khan, that one. I watched the Bhagavad Gita as it is, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, chapter 6 through 8. Okay, so I watched chapter 5 that day, the previous day. Sandalwood Scent Offering, J.D. Hall, Jews 4 through 7, And the Sunday, the 13th, I started the sleep study on Surah on 5, and Nokian Key 5, number 7 a.m. through 7:12 a.m. Orange 9 through 11 or 9 through 10 or something. Bhagavad Gita as it is, I watch. An Orange Steam Offering, I listen to The Realities of a Human Being. The summit was Ramadan with CD, traveling through the 70,000 veils to our Lord. Interesting thing to have watched, to listen to. Because, the first step in our spiritual development of removing our ignorance sometimes is harder than any of the other ones. You could rip off, but there's something holding. Misassociation, arrogance, maybe you killed someone. It could be a lot of things. J.D. Hall, Jews 8, Sandalwood Scent Offering. I discussed tarot and something with there's the Princess of Cups, Princess of Discs, Princess of Swords, Princess of Wands. I know I was talking things over with the Princess of Wands. It's sad what has, her situation in some degrees, but it's her choice. Who am I to force people otherwise, particularly at a distance, right? So Mercury of air, I guess that could have been part of the problem. Sometimes people are distant, and particularly without the video and stuff, with the YouTube and stuff, it's just easier to deal with people, that you can see, and you can see what they're referring to and that sort of thing. So Sandalwood, success, psychic growth, psychic development, protection, meditation, good luck, divination, which may mean something different to other people. Monday, the 14th, sleep study on 18, Tahajjud Salat with Surah 474 through 92. Something 8 thing. Enochian Key 6, 7:47 to 9:50 a.m. Don't worry about falling asleep in your rituals. You don't need to banish. As much as banishing psychically and emotionally, I don't know, maybe I'll close with another thing, but don't call up anything that you're not gonna, don't invoke or evoke, or don't involve yourself in things that's, you can't just leave. But dealing with difficult issues, fine, deal with difficult issues, but don't say, yeah, I'm too afraid to fall asleep doing this, so I'm not going to do this. This is sort of a trick that is laid upon us. Chapters 10 through 14, the Bhagavad Gita, 2:01 p.m., 6 p.m. to something. I'll watch Bhagavad Gita as it is. Orange Steam Offering. I listened to Abdul Bari, Surah 1 and 2. J.D. Hall, Jews 9 and 10. Ajiza 9 and 10, I believe is the plural. Tuesday the 15th, I started the sleep study on 41. The 7th Enochian Key there. I obviously wrote these out for me to understand, which is why, in particular, on this series, I'm doing it live, so there's comments and questions. But my comment section will remain open. If I get too many people to commenting to reply to everything, it's not like it's not going to remain open. I watched the Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 15 through 18. An Orange Steam Offering. I read through Surah 8, Ayat 40 of that same World Islamic Mission revised Quran with commentary and translation. Orange Steam Offering. I listened to Abdul Bari, Surah 3 and 4. Something Volume 2, Edition 2001. Okay, that's what that was. It was a gift to somebody thought that I would benefit from it, and I have benefited from it. So, I sifted out scraps for my Malkut poster. I started the Sleep CD on, what did I start it on? 8? I don't know, on Wednesday the 16th. 5:15 to 5:26 a.m. The 8th Enochian key. I watched Alex Gray's art gallery. I had a discussion with the next door neighbor. Sacred Mysteries, previews, Art Mind, The Healing Power of Sound. I listened to Abdul-Bari Surah 5 and 6, and J.D. Hall, Jews 12, and maybe another one. I discussed my Malkut Pantacle, which I put on the door with the next door neighbor. At a Dead Sea Scrolls. Oh, okay, something I watched or read. Sandalwood Scent Offering. At a discussion with the Princess of Disc. And I read through Surah 9, Ayat 93 of that same Quran with the translation and such. On Thursday the 17th, the Sleep CD on 18, I guess, I read through Surah 11, 5 of the Holy Quran, same as before. Orange steam offering, sandalwood would have been a physical stick. Why not symbolize what you're using, what you put in the oven and all sorts of stuff. So the 9th Enochian key, 10:32 to 10:49 a.m. I listened to Abdul-Bari, Surah 7 and 8, J.D. Hall, Ajiza 15 and 16. I watched Bhagavad Gita as it is, Invocation, Chapter 1, Observing the Armies on the Battlefield of Kurukshetra. I watched, on the 18th, I watched Bhagavad Gita as it is, Chapter 2, Contents of the Gita Summarized, 7:52 to 8:07 a.m. The 10th Enochian key, Sleep Sea on 36, an orange steam offering. I listened to Abdul-Bari, Surah 9 through 13. I watched Chapter 3, Karma Yoga, from the Bhagavad Gita. Very important, as small as it is, and as much as it's really a later addition to the Mahabharata, which didn't exist for a long time. It's very important. Had a discussion, well, probably with I discussed my art and all sorts of things with the Princess of Cups, but I discussed the I think that's the Princess of Disc that I meant to say there. Listen to Bari Surah 14 through 17. And I read through Surah 12:52 of that same Quran translation. And, I also discussed things with the neighbor. And the Dead Sea Scrolls, uncovered, through page 134. I watched Bhagavad Gita as it is, Chapter 4, Transcendental Knowledge, Chapter 5, Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness. And before I go on to Sunday the 20th, let me see where on my shelf the Dead Sea Scrolls uncovered. Of the stuff on this shelf, probably the most important of things that people may not notice is the Uriel Machine, Dead Sea Scrolls, and the Sefer Raziel Hamelach. But the IBS books, if you can get them for a couple bucks a piece, that's great. The Saduquite document, wonderful little book. The Talmud, the Living Talmud, that was a great find. The Bible and the lost books of the Bible and the forgotten books of Eden. I believe people will want that to be shared on my channel, so that's going to happen at some point. It's interesting, the different prayer books that people can go over. The Dead Sea Scriptures, that's a good one. Not my favorite. My favorite is the Jewish Publishing Society, not only because it has a whole tonic, but because I just like the translation better. Strong's, I have dictionaries and stuff that's not in this room. But, Endicott. Yeah, I'd wanted any issue of Endicott that I do not have would be great. Because you got one there. You got, what was it, two? Which one do I have the other one of? Anyways, I'm going to leave that at the time being. But I have two of the Endicott issues. Okay, Sunday the 20th. I started the sleep CD on 4 Tahajjud with, 4, Surah 4, ayat 92 through ayat 158, and the 12th Enochian key. Probably, I might have, I've probably mentioned it in passing. Oh yeah, today is the day where where I meditate or meditated or scryed or whatever you want to call it with the same thing that we meditated with the day you met when I the Princess of Cups. I watched the Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 6. Dhyana Yoga. And chapter 7, Knowledge of the Absolute. Abdul-Bari, Surah 28. Chapter 8, Attaining the Supreme Knowledge. Chapter 9, The Most Confidential Knowledge. Abdul-Bari, Surah 18 through 20. A Sandalwood Scent Offering. Clairvoyance, Consecration, various things like that. Monday the 21st, I started the sleep CD on Surah 13. I read through Surah 1452 of the Maulana Shah Ahmed Raza Khan translation. 8 p.m. Okay, 2 to 2:23 a.m. 8 p.m. to 2:23 p.m. maybe. 13th Enochian Key. 8:10 p.m. I would have went to sleep maybe. J.D. Hall, Jews 12, is it? I read the first complete translation and interpretation of 50 key documents withheld for over 50 years through page 179. That's the volume that I was pointing out over there. Let me see. I listened to Abdul-Bari, Surah 21 through 26, Sandalwood Scent Offering. I watched Bhagavad Gita as it is, Chapter 10, The Opulence of the Absolute, Chapter 11, The Universal Path. I don't remember what names the Krishna Consciousness Society gave for the different chapters, but I started Sleep Study on Surah 3, Tuesday the 22nd, Orange Scent Offering, sweetness, beauty, brightness, brightening disposition, So I made different scent offerings, different weeks and different days. So that week, disposition, fertility, good luck, happiness, love, material objects, money, prosperity, wealth. Weddings, I read Al-Quran through Surah, I don't know what I read through World Islam Mission. I watched Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 12. I discussed with maybe I was seeing that with the next door neighbor. Chapter 13, Nature, the Enjoyer, and Consciousness. Orange Steam Offering, listen to Abdul-Bari, Surah 28 through 39. On the 23rd, the Sleep Study on 75. I watched the Bhagavad Gita as it is. Chapter 14, the 3 modes of material existence, something like that. Chapter 15, the Yoga of the Supreme Person. 16, the Divine and Demoniac Natures. Remember how I said there's only 2 religions? Chapter 17, The Divisions of Faith. I read Al-Quran through Surah 16, ayat 128. In February 2001, Karachi, Pakistan. Orange Steam Offerings. I listened to Abdul Bari, Surah 40 through 53. Sandalwood Scent Offering, J.D. Hall, Jews 20, Ajiza 20 through and 21. Okay, 3 modes. J.D. Hall 19. Day before. The bar 20. Okay, so Sandalwood Scent Offering 2020. Okay, I can go on to the 24th, can I? I watched the Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 18, conclusion, the perfection of renunciation. Now, we don't have to renounce the world. We can renounce the results without renouncing the world. I listened to Abdul Bari, Surah 54 through 114. J.D. Hall, Jews 22. Sandalwood Scent Offering. On the 25th, Sleep CD on 12, 7 to 7:16 a.m. The 15th, Enochian Key. I listened to, was my meditation or my scrying or whatever it was. I watched Bhagavad Gita as it is. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Invocation. Chapter 1, Observing the Armies of the Battlefield of Kurukshetra. Chapter 2, Contents of the Gita summarized. Chapter 3, Karma Yoga. Chapter 4, Transcendental Knowledge. Orange Scent Offering. Saturday the 26th. My hand's cramping up here. I started Sleep CD on Surah 44, an Orange Steam Offering. I'll watch Bhagavad Gita as it is. Chapter 5, Karma Yoga. Karma, Yoga in Action. Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness. Chapter 6, Dhyana Yoga. Chapter 7, Knowledge of the Absolute. I listened to Lights. The Gita in English. Something comes to me. So there's different traditions of translation and commentary, obviously. I finished before the end of Safar. Muharram. Okay, the first month of the year. On Sunday, the 27th, I started the Sleep CD on Surah 4. I watched Bhagavad Gita as it is, Chapter 8, Chapter Attaining the Supreme, Chapter 9, The Most Confidential Knowledge, Chapter 10, The Opulence of the Absolute, Chapter 11, The Universal Form, Chapter 12, Devotional Service, Chapter 13, Nature, the Enjoyer, and Consciousness. Okay, the Orange Steam Offering, 8 through 8:16 a.m., 7:07 through 7:21 a.m., Enochian Key 19 with the 30th author. So comment and question, if one has any. Okay, Supreme, Sandalwood, Sleep CD. Okay. Oh, there's my experience to end out the month here. But I'm going to continue with the portion of February that I said. Monday, the 28th, I started Sleep CD on Surah 17. There was a Sandalwood Scent Offering. I read through page 135 of, see that book with the yellow and the red? And no, I'm not a Jew, but I can appreciate the symbolism. Watch the Bhagavad Gita as it is, Chapter 14, The Three Modes of Material Nature, Chapter 15, The Yoga of the Supreme Person. Sleep CD on 37. What does I watch? I read through 13.5, Surah 13.5, is that what I was trying to say? Or 135? Okay, that makes more sense. Or maybe it doesn't. On Tuesday the 29th, I read Al-Quran through Surah 72, 70, 22, 78, 78. So I would have prostrated in that chapter twice, right? I watched Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 16, the divine and the demoniac natures. So we can ascend or descend on either side of that. Let's not be all right-hand path, left-hand path dualist in ways that don't really exist. I discussed things with such things with the next door neighbor. The pentacles on the door. Which ones did I have? Did I make my way up? Orange steam offering. On Wednesday the 30th, I started the sleep study on 7. Or 77. Okay, 77. I watched Bhagavad Gita as it is. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada of Acharya of ISKCON, narrated by H.G. Ranyaya Dasa, disciple since 1974, invocation and chapter 1 through 3. I had a discussion with the next door neighbor, and for some people, I guess this right here is the whole point of the video, that little blue writing right there. So 7:34 to 7:54 a.m. Enochian Vumd Oth Teeks. So the 30th Enochian author. And I have become attached to, there's a green stone here. I don't know where it is. There's a malachite stone. There it is. There's a malachite stone, this side up, that I would put on my forehead. I will do any of these meditations without the Pacific thing, but this is the stone that I use when I meditate with when I do workings with that particular Enochian key. I should be more careful because I could scratch things and I don't have a polisher and all that. So as I hopped out from physically, I felt like I slipped and fell, shown by those two lines. It felt like I fell, but I wasn't hurting. The back side of my side down actually felt like I hit where I was laying. In closing, there was a breeze and happiness that went through me, and something, the fall of spellbound, unknown to least, I felt my heart race as I returned into my normal sense of perception. So there's you rise up, there's the down below your body, there's all sorts of sensual and psychic things that can happen with what's going on in your meditations and such like that. But it's not like if you're practiced and aware of these things that you don't have the concept going on that, hey, there wasn't an earthquake when I was praying, right? But, so first, but my approach was always that you work towards balance and character development and learning and stuff like this and devotion. And then, the other stuff came much easier. So I started the sleep on the 31st, which was a Thursday. I started the sleep CD on Surah 5. I watched Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 4, 5, 6, I don't know. Sandalwood steam opera, 4, 5, 6. On the Friday, the 1st of February, I started the sleep CD on Surah 16. I watched Bhagavad Gita as it is, 7, 8, 9, 10. Something tranquility. So something of of a mercury of air, representing retention, but I can't quite figure out what I was trying to say. Oh, lavender, lavender. Okay, I can't quite read it. Okay, on the second, that Saturday, I started the sleep CD on 49, I guess. There was Enochian key. Which Enochian key? Oh, again, working with Teaks, 7:30 to 7:42 a.m. On Sunday the 3rd, I started the sleep CD on Surah 3, and I discussed the something and symbols with the next door neighbor, and dragon's blood, where dragon's blood is rather expensive. It's like no less than $50 a pound for the real stuff. But when it melts, it looks like a pool of blood, which is pretty cool. And the smell of it's just amazing. Either variety of real dragon's blood. But some people will sell you mildly poisonous stuff that you should be careful with your touching and stuff. Probably set out your incense and then go wash your hands and and dry them, of course, and then do the rest of what you're going to do. On the 4th, which is a Monday, I started Sleep Sea on 10. I'll watch Bhagavad Gita as it is. The Universal Form, 11, Devotional Service, 12, Nature, the Enjoyer, 12, 13, I already gave the titles, that shouldn't. Columnist Draco, representing, Dragon's Blood, Consecration. The 30th Ather, 8 something to 11:50 a.m. I read the Dead Sea Scrolls through page 255. I finished something. Oh, I finished listening to that translation or maybe it was just a translation, but I believe it was saying the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, my shoe. I'm sorry about the squeaking from my shoe sometimes. But it's a wet day outside, so. Tuesday the 5th, I started Sleep Sea on 34. I read Al-Quran through Surah 27, ayat 59. I watched Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Conclusion, contents of the Gita's. Oh, okay. I guess that's scent offering representing fidelity, which is the symbolism of dragon's blood. I listened to J.D. Hall, Jews, I'm not sure. Wednesday the 6th, I read the Holy Quran through Surah 29, ayat 44. Dragon's blood scent offering. Good luck, I guess. I read through Surah 33:30 of that same, with the same translation. Obviously, I'm reading the Arabic as I go along. 7:52 to 8:30 a.m. Again, working with the 30th author. 12:09 to 12:33 p.m. I read the complete translation and interpretation of 50 key documents over the past 35 years through page 286. I watched Beyond Lemuria, The Secrets of Mount Shasta, and, the preview, which is the 4th Church of Hermetic Science film. I'm surprised they kind of stopped there. There were a series of podcasts, which are good to follow. Carol Poke-Runyon. So the Bhagavad Gita as it is, Invocation, chapter 1, 2. Oh, okay. Chapter 1 is 46 verses. Chapter 2, 22 verses. Chapter 3, 43. I listened to J.D. Hall, Jews 26 and 27. 6 and 7. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Abdul Bari, Surah 1, Dragon's Blood Scent Offering representing honesty. On the 8th, there was a sleep CD on chapter 18. I watched Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 4, 42 verses, chapter 5, 29 verses, chapter 6, 26 verses, chapter 7, 47 verses. Beyond Lemuria, Dragon's Blood Scent Offering representing love and increasing the power of operations, but I guess the Saturday ninth was the symbolism of love. I'll listen to Abdul Bari Surah. Can't make sense of that. Okay, on the 9th, Sleep C on 49, J.D. Hall, Jews 20, Jews 4, Abdul Bari Surah 28 through 52. Yeah, I guess I can listen to that much today. Or maybe it's third. Y'all find out later. I'll watch Beyond the Lemuria. That's the latter and commentary. I would have discussed that film with The Princess of Cups. I would have discussed it with The Next Door Neighbor. Commentary, I went off to, I guess there was some group, or no, I went on a trip somewhere with The Next Door Neighbor, I think, and there was a cave trip to the 8 caves in Washington. That there were multiple trips. 2007 there was a trip. 2011. I don't remember which. I think there were a couple trips before 2007, and I don't remember what before. I believe 2009 and 2010. I'm not sure. After 2011, it kind of broke off, but I think it was every year between those 2 points. So I don't know. That's lost, but we'll find out next Sunday, the 10th. I started the sleep CD on what did I start with? I watched Beyond Lemuria, Mount Shasta, The Secrets of. Okay. It's fictional, but it's a representation of the choice of the second degree initiate. Of you see these tarot cards. That the card for art, temperance, that sort of thing. You have a ascent. So am I going to work through the issues in the angelic perspective, or am I going to look at the demonic side and deal with, that side of life? So which is going to be my focus? A lot of people say you do both at the same time, or you can do both. If you're worshiping other than God, it may not matter at all. And it may be even more blasphemous to say, oh, I'm going to control the angels. But, okay. There was Dragon's Blood Scent Offering. Because the unfallen angels are of a different material, and they have no choice but to obey. They don't have, some of them have personalities and stuff, but virility is symbolism of Dragon's Blood. That's in J.D. Hall, part 12. From a little before the early afternoon to a little after the late afternoon, and I had a discussion and things with, discourses with the Jamaat group from Kent, Washington. Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 8, 43 verses, chapter 9, 27 verses. Okay. On the 11th, I started the sleep CD on Surah 19. I listened to Abdul Bari, Surah 4. The Bhagavad Gita as it is, if you're wise enough to take things or leave things, it's a great thing to get. A lot of spiritual books are like that. Some stuff, okay. If you could just take, okay, the commentary, but the actual text itself. But most things in life, you can look at it and say, well, this makes sense. This is what I'm going to accept. This is what I'm going to leave. I'm going to rework this. It's fine. So Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter, okay, on the 11th, Monday, the sleep CD on Surah 19, I listen to Abdul Bari, Surah 4, I watch Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 10, 42 verses, chapter 11, 55 verses, chapter 12, 20 verses, chapter, Beyond Lemuria, And I listened to J.D. Hall, Jews 10 through 14. On Tuesday, well, that was the period where I was listening to things, I guess. Tuesday, I started the sleep CD, because I would have taken a break for prayer and all that. I started the sleep CD on 59. I watched Beyond the Lemuria, Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 13, 35 verses, chapter 14, 27 verses. I listened to J.D. Hall, Jews 15 through maybe only 15. Dragon's Blood Scent Offering represented the unexpected happenings. Abdul-Bari, Surah 5 and 6. Wednesday the 13th, I started the sleep seed on Surah 4. I watched Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 15, which is 20 verses, chapter 16, 24 verses, chapter 17, 28 verses, chapter 18, 77 verses. Oh, maybe it was 50-something verses. 55 verses was chapter 13. Whatever the case. Beyond the Lemuria, I watched that too. I listened to J.D. Hall, Jews 18 and 19. I read through Surah 36:21 of the Holy Quran, that same one that I had mentioned before. I started the sleep CD on before. I've read through Surah 36:21 of the Holy Quran on Thursday the 14th, 6:33 to 7:01 a.m. Meditation on the Enochian Key 7. I listened to Abdul-Bari, Surah 7 through 9. I read through Surah 39:31. Dragon's Blood Scent Offering. Strength. Psychic Development. I watched The Rites of Magic, which is the third of the Church of Medic Sciences videos. Now, again, as I'm saying, I watch a lot of documentaries. It doesn't mean that one day I'm a Catholic, one day I'm a Hindu, one day I'm a Buddhist, one day... No, that's not really the way to... I started Sleep CD on 43 on the 15th. And I watched The Rites of Magic. Oh, wasn't the 14th of February on a Thursday this year, too. I watched The Rites of Magic, Bhagavad Gita as it is. About chapter 1, 46 verses, chapter 2, 72 verses. Okay, I already went that. I read Eric von Daniken's Chariots of the Gods, Memories of the Future, Unsolved Mysteries, Mysteries of the Past. Oh, I would have watched that, right? I listened to Abdul-Bari, Surah 10 and 11. Nagachampa Scent Offering, Ather, 30th Ather with something, verses, being light. Problems with structures. Oh, that's an interesting thing. On the 16th, I started the sleep CD on 11. I watched The Rites of Magic, Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 3, verses, chapter 4 or 5. I listened to Abdul-Bari, Surah 12 through 16 or 18 or something. I read through Surah 41:54 of that same Quran translation commentary. Sleep CD on 35. I watched The Rites of Magic, Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I listened to Abdul-Bari, Surah 15 through 19. J.D. Hall, Jews 29 and Jews 30. I had a discussion with the Princess of Cups. Strange religious presences with drugs and something come and it died from the sky. Oh, and objects from the sky. Yeah, the spiritual implications of UFOs and stuff would have definitely been something I talked to her about, and I don't know, maybe The Blonde Stranger in the Creek will have a chapter about aliens, spirits, psyche, physical. Perhaps, better than these things. It'd be nice for some people to look at that. Watch whatever video you want. That's fine. Comment and question to have clarification. Okay, on the 18th, I read the Lost Books of the Bible through page 29. I listened to Abdul-Bari, Surah 20 to 23, something hymns of something, twice. I finished painting my Goetia poster. Is that what I'm talking about? I think that's what I'm talking about, because you have the color coding. You have the color coding, and you have the sigillos of the, like, you kind of have the 5 duties here. You have creed and prayer, which is best said in a congregational house or a space dedicated towards that. We have charity and war, I guess, if that's necessary, but striving of any sort. We have fasting, as shown by a cycle of the moon, and we have the pilgrimage. So, but the striving or even in the war, especially in the war context, isn't exactly a duty. It's not one of the 5 pillars as such. But that would defeat that. Okay, I watched The Rites of Magic. On the 19th, I watched Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapters 11, 12, 13, 14, and The Rites of Magic. A lot of Semitic, Mesopotamian sort of things going on there, but some of it's of Greco-Roman culture. I don't know how to summarize it in one terms, but I listened to the songs of Zarathustra, the boys are 74 and 75. And what did I watch? Nag Champa Scent Offerings. Nag Champa, if you get it cheap price, is a interesting thing to have. But again, be sensitive of not only safety, but not making it so smoky that it's an intoxicant. Had a discussion with the next door. I read through Surah 45, at 37, and I discussed the Church of Medic Science videos with that neighbor, and I've watched all 4 of them with him at least once. The Stargate. I would have discussed the Stargate ritual with the Princess of Cups too, and with the next door neighbor. There's actually an experience where you're pulled through a vortex, and it's making all sorts of weird sounds and stuff like that. The movies and stuff like this don't bring justice to some of these psychic experiences and some of these spiritual experiences, but some of them can be certainly moving. But you meditate, where the star is in the sky, you use it as a gateway. There is no good or bad star to do that with. You can dedicate it to whatever you worship. It's like you're dragged at high speed through this thing, and I'm not saying you go to a different planetary system. I haven't experienced like that. Okay, there was a lunar eclipse. I would have discussed the symbolism with that. The prayer of the Bari Surah 25 through 33. Enochian Key 13th, 8:08 to 8:33 a.m. And I'm going to close this and put this up, and at some point I'm going to get to that, maybe starting tomorrow morning, but I'm probably done with videos for today unless there's somebody who's going to do a live interview or something like that and I find something, so I have to set things up in a hurry. But to lay out more of the biblical cosmology, we have balls and boom, Balial, Lawiatan, Mahmud, Azazal, Abadun, Ha-Satan, Ha-Shatan, Shaitan. Gharaba, Shaul, Gharib, Gilgul, Ain Shameim, Heart, Manva Shaul. Wow. My biblical cosmology and demonology for the pentagram right. I'm not saying that various angels and demons and whatnot, they're coming to do what I want. You have, you have Shakeen, the presence. So, east, south, west, north, Mizrach, Durum, Mabwa, Thapuni, and then I laid down the hells, the various types. It's just expressing what the cosmology is. Whatever your intention with that is how these rites operate. No symbol is good or evil, but that's it for today. And my Saturday ones for the next month will probably be my only live ones, except for my show Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern time through 6 p.m. maybe. I'm bound to stop a little before that, but